Devils with a big win and a big night individually for Jack Hughes and Jesper Bratt. The Devils score 7. Jack has 2 goals and 3 assists for a career-high 5-point game. Jesper Bratt, Chico, has a goal and 4 assists, and that's for a career-high 5-point game. And those two, they've got something special, and it was on display at the Rock.
And it has been for a while, hasn't it, Matty? I mean, it really has. They feed off each other. Oh, some of the passes, no-look passes. With those two, you don't even call it a no-look pass because half the time they're not looking. They're trying to deceive the defenders. And tonight they did. And finishing off with some great shots off passes with both players. And like I say, Matty, they are worth the price of admission. They were dynamic tonight.
They sure were. And, again, we talked about it during the game, and we'll probably have this conversation throughout the remainder of the season and then into the postseason as well. Will the real New Jersey Devils please stand up? Is it this team after the Olympic break? Is it the team that got off to a great start? Is it a little bit the team in the middle that couldn't score goals? We were talking to some people tonight. They were like, there was a period, and we know it all too well, where it seemed they only scored 1 goal per game. And I'm not sure, but we're not paid to make those decisions, but those decisions have to be made.
Well, you know, they've got some games coming up against it. Like, they got 2 games against Montreal. If they were to win both those, that would tell me a lot about this team because, you know, you said Montreal's on a winning streak. They got lots of reasons to win. Okay, they might not win them both, but Montreal. But if the Devils won them both, that would be incredible. And then you got Philly. We don't know what they're up to. Pittsburgh. Yeah, no, it's a long shot. But, Matty, I'll tell you, this team is playing. I have to believe, I don't know, we don't see all the games, do we? They have to be playing as well as any team in the National Hockey League right now.
Well,
consistently.
They are playing consistently well. Patiently waiting downstairs is Johnny Kovacevic, who knows a thing or two about the Montreal Canadiens, having played for them, and knows a little bit about what's at stake and also knows a little bit about defense. Johnny, thanks very much for your time. Everyone's going to say 7 spot, but Washington, which had been scoring tons of goals lately, was limited to just 3, so the D had to be doing something right. What did you guys do right tonight?
I will say the emphasis should be on the offense, putting up 7.
Yeah.
Jaker played really well, and anytime, you know, your goalie's your best defender, that means we're giving up a little too much. So, like, I guess I didn't love how much we gave up, but obviously we were executing at a high level on the other side of the ring.
And that is the key. But, you know, Jake, or Johnny, okay, so they're coming in. Washington's coming in. They got a shot. But I was just looking here. Chychrun, on for 3. He's a -3. All their guys are 2 or 3. I think they're trying, but it seems to me that it's so hard to play shutdown defense in today's hockey. I mean, it does happen, but I don't see it much with teams.
Yeah, the league's so skilled now. You know, as a defenseman, you can't worry too much about the results. You gotta be more oriented on focusing on every shift in, shift out, because you know you could do your job for 59 minutes, and if you are off, you know, for a minute here or there, it's in the back of your net. Like, everyone's so good. So yeah, you can't really be too results based. Like, those are some great players over there, and yeah, it just wasn't their night.
Well, there were some breakaways tonight, and that's part of what you're talking about. How it was good on the offensive side. There was improvement that could have been shown on the defensive side. My point is, they did score on one of them. They didn't score on the other one. And then you guys make some adjustments. But what is overall, you know, that balance that everyone's trying to look for? Here you have these gifted offensive players, but you can't get into racehorse hockey all the time. And yet you can't shut down, as you just spoke. So what is the balance in the modern hockey game?
I think limiting, like, you know, you're going to play in the D zone sometimes, but limiting their high quality chances, like limiting the quality ice, taking away, you know, those like quick passes from behind the net into our slot. Like, we really want to limit those like inner slot shots, kind of those easy goals, if that makes sense. And then, you know, we're really confident When we're healthy, the guys up front, you saw it today, they're flying around. So, yeah, you're going to obviously give up chances here and there, but you really want to limit those high-danger ones.
Well, isn't that the truth? Now, Johnny, you want to enjoy tonight. I'm not trying to take anything away from tonight, and I'm not trying to talk about other players that you probably, but you played with Cole Caulfield, and you're playing with Jack, and Cole's at 49, right? Can you just tell us a little bit about what he does, and if he is different or the same as Jack? I know they played together.
Oh yeah, they played together. They obviously have similarities, as most great players do, but they do play different. Like Cole's a shoot first guy. Jack is I guess a little bit of both. But they both kind of have that killer instinct. They want the puck at all times. They want to be the difference maker. You can just see it in their eyes. So they have that belief and that enthusiasm that they bring into the game. That's contagious. So. I've got the privilege to play with both of them, and they're both kind of like high energy, get the team going kind of guys with their skill. So it'll be a big challenge for us. Like you said, Cole's almost at 50, so we got 2 games here against them. It'll be a big challenge to shut their guys down.
Thank you.
Trying to become the second in the NHL to get to 50 this season, one shy of that. So as a defenseman, do you look forward to those kind of matchups? Like, I don't know how often you'll necessarily be out on the ice against Caulfield, and then when we go to Montreal, it'll be different again. They have last change, all that sort of stuff. I'm just wondering, do you get kind of fired up for that?
Yeah. I mean, the thing is, in this league, every team is so good now. Like, you see the East, almost everyone has a above 500 record. There's so many good players. You always get, I don't know if, fired up, but you're kind of on high alert because the margins for error are so slim with those guys. So yeah, for me personally, obviously I have a little more personal connection because I got some relationships on the other side. So I'll be fired up for sure.
Just another thing, John, I'll let you go here, but we hear so much about fans and announcers saying those games in October and November, they really matter, and now you see it. Do you think, and I know this is a tough question, but is the league, you have a more, Devils have one more win than the Caps, but yeah, we're chasing them. Do you like the alignment, but is it good for hockey the way it's set up, do you think?
In what sense? The division?
Well, division, the fact that we've got one more win, but we're not in the playoffs, or not even chasing like they are, and the fact that it's just hard to understand that those games in October that we might have won or lost come back to bite us now.
So that's the reality of it. That's why it's an 82-game season. No, we can't make any excuses and say, this is not fair.
Yeah.
We have a high-skilled team, so when we're going into overtime, we're winning a lot of those overtime shootout games. That helps, the win record. But no, it's just we can't change the way hockey's set up. I mean, you get 2 points for a win, 1 for an overtime loss. I feel like that's pretty fair because at overtime, it's, with 3-on-3, it's almost a coin flip sometimes. Chances on both ends. And then obviously in the playoffs, you don't have 3-on-3. So, no, I wouldn't say it's unfair. I think it's very fair. And that's definitely not an excuse for us.
Oh, good.
Johnny, thanks very much, as always, for your thoughts, and we appreciate the insights, and we look forward to the Canadiens this weekend.
Thank you, guys.
Thank you, John.
Johnny Kovacevic and the Devils with a 7-3 win. I get it, right? He's not thinking about the goals that were scored. By the Devils. He's thinking about the goals that were scored and the opportunities by Washington, and isn't that the balance, too? First off, everybody's happy. They won.
Yes.
Right? And then I think happiness in sports goes, well, we won, so we're happy. We won, how did I do? And in Johnny's case, he's playing up against the defense. He's probably thinking, there were some breakdowns there. And then it goes from there. If we did well, but we lost individually, we're happy, but we lost, so on and so forth, until losing and playing badly is terrible for everyone. But I'm wondering how, Chico, as a goalie, if you didn't play particularly well, you didn't like your game, but you wound up winning, and it was an 8-4, 8-5 win. Back in the day, those kind of scores were not unusual. were you happy, or did you go, oh, yeah, we won, but I got to be much better?
I think it was different back then, Matty, that you did, analyze, maybe overanalyze your play. But I think in today's hockey, there was 6 goals scored, not 7. They pulled a goal in. But what I'm saying, I don't know how Thompson felt he played, but he didn't have much chance. I think you got to wash it more now than ever, Matty. When you get beat and it's not cooking, it's like Johnny Kovacevic said. It's how teams finish off their good scoring chances. Like Washington had some good chances. And the thing I would ask Johnny, but he couldn't really answer it, you used to say, okay, you're playing Cole Caulfield, and I'd say, Matty, you're a defenseman. Are you going to be really aware that Caulfield's on the ice? Yeah. Are you going to try to take him away more than somebody else? Well, yeah, but if I do that, you know what I mean? I don't think you can get into a game and say, I'm going to shut that guy down. I'm going to take that away from him because the game is going east, west, down, back. I just think for defensemen, it's goalies, it's tough. But for defensemen, life has never been tougher for defensemen than it is now.
Devils winning 7-3 tonight. We'll get reaction from the locker room in just a minute. We'll hear from head coach Sheldon Keefe before we say goodnight. But let's check out highlights of tonight's game. And we didn't know that we'd see 10 goals, one into an empty net, but we certainly were hoping we'd see a better performance than Tuesday. And the Devils had to be wary because Washington, ahead of them in the playoff race, a more likely chance of feeling better about their chances, just 3 points out of a playoff position coming in and having won 3 straight. If the Devils weren't on their toes, it could have been a long night.
Oh, absolutely, and that's what Johnny was saying. Any night can be a long night if you're not on, somebody's not on their toes, whether it's a goalie or defense making some key plays to block a shot or clear a dangerous rebound. No, it's from game to game, you do not really know what's going to happen, and I think that's the biggest change in the National Hockey League right now.
Sometimes you have to get some luck, too. The Devils did give up a breakaway early in this game. Ryan Strome appeared seemingly out of nowhere, skating down the center of the ice. He's coming in all alone, but he misses the net. He didn't even put it on goal. No. And so that's a break for the Devils, and a little later on, they made the Caps pay. Bukestad moves across, gets it to Hamanao, backhands in front, they score! What a setup for Cody Glass, a brilliant pass by Hamanao, and the Devils take the lead. That was really just a beautiful three-way, Bukestad to Hamanao to Glass in front.
Well, it is when the defense is going to break down the way that Washington did and allow those kinds of passes to happen. Honestly, it was almost like a practice where it's a 3-on-0. And you know what, though? You still got to put the passes tape to tape. And we're saying Lenny Hamanao, we are so happy he got an assist. And Glass with a nice shot, too. I mean, all 3 guys should feel good about that goal.
Yeah, and Hamanao needs some sort of a break like that.
Yes.
And guys who like to score goals and who doesn't, he's gone now 22 without a goal.
Yeah.
But that assist was so pretty, cutting across, backhand in front, and then he had a chance early on the pass by Jack that was tipped. Thompson came out, right? And challenged. So Hamanao was involved tonight, and that's a good sign because he's 21. There's going to be struggles in your first year in the National Hockey League, but like you said, him ending on a good note bodes well going forward.
Yeah, and being involved, I hope everybody's involved. But being productive, doing something that makes a difference, and he sure did on that pass, didn't he?
He did indeed. Devils had a 1-0 lead at 5:22 on Glass's 16th goal of the season. That 16 goals was matched a little over 2 minutes later by Dawson Mercer. Chychrun after a loose puck. Mercer will get there first. Good hustle by the Devils. Now Hamilton with it to the corner off the stick of Hischier, and now in front, and it's put home on the second try. Dawson Mercer makes it 2-0. Except it was the first try, but he did put it in on the second try.
No, nobody saw that he put in the first one. Looked like it was off the pipe, and then he told us, no, I'm just going to do the double down on that one, and he did. But what a big goal that was for him. He had gone a long time without a goal, right?
He had the number exactly for Dawson Mercer was 11 coming into tonight's game. So, he put it off the back bar, the middle bar in the back, and it came right back to him. I agree with you, Chico. He saw it. That's what happened. I thought it was on the second try, the good goal. He said no. He was just doubling down to make sure.
I loved it.
So his 16th goal of the season at 7:37 made it 2-0, but then Cole Hudson scored on a 2-on-0 breakaway to make it 2-1 at 8:15, and then a power play goal by Pierre-Luc Dubois at 9:47 tied it at 2. And so the Devils give up 2 goals in a minute 32, and you're wondering what kind of night were we going to have. Well, it turns out the Devils were going to score a lot more. Washington not as many. Before the period came to an end, the Devils took the lead. Jack Hughes fires it cross ice. Here's Bratt cutting between the circles. A shot off a stick and wide. Now it's Jack with it for Hamilton. The one-timer, they score! Blast from out high. A Dougie special. And the Devils regain the lead. It's 3-2. At 18-19, his 12th goal of the season. Jack Hughes and Jesper Bratt picking up assists. That was the start of a really powerful night for that duo. But for Dougie Hamilton, that turns out to be, as I said, his 12th goal of the season, and that patented bullet from the blue line.
Yeah, you know what's interesting about Dougie Hamilton? First of all, I saw the goalie throw his head back. He didn't see it, but it was a nice shot. But here's the thing, folks, and Maddie and I are always talking about how we're going to get excited down the stretch. Okay, Dougie Hamilton, we do not know where he's going. We don't know if he's going to be a Devil next year, what's going to happen. But here's what I do tell you. Anybody watching from any other team who's watching Dougie Hamilton is more impressed with him now. And if he does come back, Devils are going to be more impressed with him. So he's got things to play for, and he's making the best of it, and he did with that big blast on that point shot.
And the Devils had the 3-2 lead that they took into the second period. It was not a big night for Alexander Ovechkin, the NHL's all-time leading goal scorer, maybe concluding his career 21 years in the National Hockey League, 31 goals. He scored 30 or more 20 out of his 21 years, and the other year he probably would have, except it was a COVID-shortened season of 56 games the year following COVID. At any rate, we'll get back to the highlights and Ovi, but here's the head coach.
I just thought I thought when we played him down in Washington, I thought Wash did a really good job of clogging the neutral zone and not giving us a whole lot of time or space coming through there, and then they had numbers back, so we had to find different ways to penetrate through that. Last time we played, it took us to the third period until we really kind of broke through on that, and I thought we were able to carry it through today. First goal is a good indication. It's a little bit of a transition coming out of D zone, but Bjugstad, just the way that he charges through the neutral zone, we put a puck into an area in behind their defense that he skates onto, and then, it's a great play there to Lenny and Lenny to Glasser, that whole sequence, but charging through, so that's a good example. But I just liked all of our goals here tonight, how they happened, particularly in the first period. We scored 3 goals, 3 different manners, just described the Bjugstad goal, and then, the Mercer goal happens at the bottom of the zone into the slot, and then the Dougie goal is a great ozone motion goal if numbers and traffic at the net and we shoot it in. So those are really good examples of what we talked about, how to try to manufacture some offense against a team like Washington that makes it real tough for you to do so.
Covered everything. Sheldon, what do you think Kamanahu, Glass, and Bjugstad have complemented each other so well on that line?
Well, they did tonight. I didn't think they were very good in New York. So they're 1 for 2, so I'll take that. But I thought Bjugstad had a good game here today, and he's had a lot of good games when he first got here. Coming out of the break, I thought he was really good. I thought, it hasn't been as good when he's been playing on that fourth line. He didn't really like it, as I said, in New York, but didn't like much in New York, so we decided to stay with it again here today. I'm glad we did, of course, because I thought he was much better. But Glass and Lenny have been good. Obviously, it's been mainly Gritsuk, and for a chunk of time, Bratt there. when Gritzik's come out, I haven't liked that line very much. So we needed to try something a little different, and Bukestad with his experience and his skill set, thought he was a logical guy to give a run there, and I was glad to see it work tonight. It was a big-time goal to get us started in the game, but they also just had good, consistent shifts.
Talk about your team's response with the Capitals pushing, especially in that first period, to get that goal lead and to carry it over and the momentum into the second period and not give them much going forward.
Yeah, listen, I thought, obviously, we build our lead at 2-0. I hate the mistake that we make to open up the game and give them the breakaway to make it 2-1. Then they score a power play goal, which, these things happen. It's a good power play. But, it was the mistake that gave them the first goal I didn't like. And, there's parts I liked about our second period. I didn't love it. The story of the game is our offensive execution. We were not very good defensively tonight. We gave up a lot. Jake had a lot of work. That gets overshadowed and, forgotten about because of the volume of scoring. So, we'll take that. But there's continues to be lots to desire for us and how we're defending right now.
Yeah, and speaking on that, just to follow up on the defensive play and the mistakes, is that something, with the practices and the morning skates that you can, hammer home this time of year?
Well, the breakaway we give up, and we gave up another one off a line change situation in the neutral zone earlier in the first period. But, the first goal, we got a defenseman image caught low in the zone, in the offensive zone, so we have a forward covering for him. And it's pretty straightforward. This is elementary stuff. It's the time you start playing hockey. He's caught in deep. If you're a forward, you're covering, you're playing defense, and we gave up that positioning and let a guy get in behind us. That's fundamental hockey, that we've got to do a better job of. We would never even, it's so elementary, we wouldn't even practice that. It's an expectation in the NHL. We're going to get that right. So just got to keep our focus there. And then some of the other pieces, I just thought, a couple times they break us down around our net front, and they got in behind us, and some other opportunities off the rush. But I thought it was an improvement defensively from when we saw them a couple weeks ago in Washington. But we can still do a better job. That's I'm not going to sit here and say it's a perfect game for us by any means, because it's not. But offensively, there's a lot to like with how we executed with the opportunities that we had. So we can push past some of the defensive mistakes and keep working at it when we come back together on Saturday.
Just get your thoughts on. Glad to see Mercer get rewarded there, 100 career goals.
Yeah, he's had a couple milestones here. this Ironman streak he's got going is beyond impressive. So that's terrific, and you think he became the all-time Devils Devils player. So that's terrific, and yeah, it's a cool milestone to get to. This is kind of where we're at. At this point in the season, you're trying to tick some of these things off. You want the players feeling as good as possible, like their numbers to look as good as possible. And if there's milestones out there within reach, you'd like them to accomplish them. Those are the kind of things, unfortunately, with where we're at, that I think come more to the forefront, because you want the players feeling good about themselves, and that's something that we can latch onto.
Are you sensing that about your group? That they're feeling good about, how do you sense that?
Yeah. You don't play the way that we are and win the games that we are, execute on offense the way that we are, like we did tonight. You don't do that if you're not feeling good and having fun and coming and all that. So it's a mental grind right now with where we're at in the standings. The schedule is daunting, in terms of the volume of games and the caliber of teams. This Washington team here tonight and the 7 games remaining. Every team we're playing is either in the playoffs and looking to hang on to their spot, or they're right there and trying to clinch one. So we've got to be able to be mentally focused, be engaged, which I didn't think we did in New York. And tonight I thought we were better in that area, certainly on the offensive side. Okay, thank you.
That's Sheldon Keefe, and that schedule includes 2 this weekend against Montreal, a team that's won 7 in a row. Then Philadelphia and Pittsburgh here. on the road against Detroit, final home game of the season a week from Sunday against Ottawa, and then the final game of the regular season in Boston. So indeed, a daunting schedule awaits the Devils. But if they can play like this, I like their odds in many of those games.
Absolutely. And, the difference was, and Johnny Kovacevic said it, they were able to finish tonight, right, Maddie? And we've seen in games past where they didn't score more than a goal or two, and they had chances, and you think, oh, how didn't they get more than 1 or 2 goals? But they are starting to find that scoring touch, or whatever that means. I don't know, but they're finding it, and tonight, boy, they were cooking around the Washington net.
Left the highlights with the Devils taking a 3-2 lead into the second period. People will forget about what Jake Allen did tonight. When you score 7, everyone says it's an easy night for the winning team. But it wasn't as easy as it may have appeared. Alex Ovechkin may very well have made his last appearance against the Devils, last appearance at Prudential Center, as he may very well be wrapping up a 21-year career. He came in tonight with 31 goals. He had 4 shots. He had 4 hits, but he was a -3.
Yeah, he joined a lot of players minus tonight,
including Jacob Chikrin, who led the way with a -4. But this play, with the game 3-2 early in the second, we'll call the play of the game, brought to you by Prudential, the Devils' official financial services partner. Washington gains his own again. Chikrin fakes. Now it's on to Dubois. Back to Chikrin. Out high. Just a couple of feet inside the blue line. Now a centering pass. Leonard is denied. The follow-up by Ovechkin. Off the blocker arm of Allen, and the Devils clear. And that was the Devils down a man as Timo Meier is off for a slash in the second. And we're going to call that the play of the game. Brought to you by Prudential. First off, one of the last saves that Jake Allen probably has to make against Alexander Ovechkin. I think every goalie will send him $5 toward his retirement fund. Thanks for coming. But also, it would have been a tied game, 3-3, if they score on that power play.
Oh, he was battling. I mean, he was on fire. You know what's interesting? Anze Kopitar, this is his swan song. Now you think about this, Matt. So after the game, all the players lined up to shake his hand. I don't know what this means, but they're not going to get a chance to do that with Alex unless he plays next year. It just adds a little more thought to, is he really going to retire? We don't know. And then if they were to make the playoffs, then that would be another factor, and maybe you don't retire. I mean, we don't know, but it was sure fun watching him. If he plays or not next year, we loved him for, what's he been, 20 years? More than
21.
21 years. He's just been a great addition to the National Hockey League.
928 goals.
I know.
It's an incredible number.
I know.
And had 5 in his last 3 games, but none tonight.
Wow.
As Jake Allen and company kept him off the boards, and while that made it 3-2 and kept it 3-2, it wasn't all that long before it was a 4-2 contest. Here's a pass up ahead for Bratt. He's across the line with Jack. Slides into Jack. He scores! Peanut butter and jelly combined. And it's 4-2. And you love the pump fake.
The what?
The pump fake by Jesper Bratt.
Oh, I mean, he went up, Maddie. I had turned Maddie down, my fault. He went up on one leg, okay? So that's one thing. You go up on one leg, you think he's going to shoot. But, Maddie, when you watch it further, he's got to elevate the pass, right? And the defenseman was looking for the elevated pass and went on one knee to try to knock it down with his stick, but he couldn't. So the fake shot, brilliant. The pass, outstanding, right where Jack needed it for the one-timer. I mean, Maddie, we're chuckling here, but the incredible execution that players are making right now, oh my, it just too bad it didn't happen about 30 games ago, but it didn't.
Indeed. Johnny Kovacevic picked up the secondary assist. Jack used the goal. Jesper Bratt the primary assist, and it was 4-2 after 2 into the third. That duo, with help from Brown instead of Kovacevic, made it a 3-goal game. Here's a pass in front for Jack. He scores! Bratt found him on the doorstep. Second goal of the the night for Jack, his third point, third helper for Bratt, and the Devils open up a 3-goal lead. They weren't done. Connor Brown with the secondary assist, and that'll get lost a little bit too.
Oh, that got lost. Listen, none of that happens. That's why I wish we could have heard the Brown. I'll watch him. He's going in. He's on the right side. We're just outside the top of the circle. He sees two guys coming on him with their sticks. Matt, he toe dragged it. He went between both of them and made a brilliant pass. But, I mean, if you're a defenders and a guy can beat two of you that easily, and I'm not saying they didn't try, but that's how good his move was. So he really deserved a lot of credit on that goal.
Tom Wilson made things interesting just about a minute and a half later when he scored his 28th to make it 5-3, but the Devils went on a power play 2 minutes after that. David Kemp called for a hook. Oh, and peanut butter and jelly and a couple of slices of rye bread extended the lead. Jack left wing circle, back to Luke, cross ice to Bratt, center to Brown, plays it off his skate and sends it high off the glass. Devils dig it out. Bratt quickly to Luke, near side to Jack, in the circle with a shot off the glove of Thompson. Here's a chance on the rebound, they score! Nico Hischier found Jesper Bratt. It's a 4-point night for Bratt. It's a 6-goal game for the Devils. They're up 6-3. Oh my, 12:16 the time of the goal, and the Devils said, well, we kind of have this one, but...
Yeah, nice pass on the rebound by Nico Hischier. But here's what I want to say. When I was young, I still do. I like brown bread. So let's go peanut butter on brown bread. And that would be Connor Brown. But I'm just saying, I don't know. They're so magical. But, you know, and you sort of then you forget, like, Nico Hischier scored a couple big goals on that last road trip on a deflection stuff. I mean, he makes a great play. So, as we always say, Matt, it's a team effort when you lose, and it's also a team effort when you win, and that was tonight.
That was not the end of the scoring, and I know it's not Chico's favorite situation. An empty net goal was scored, but it was a marker for Dawson Mercer, and it turned out to be a marker for Jesper Bratt and Jack Hughes. Here's how it sounded. Hudson checked far side by Mercer. Here's Chychrun. Now for Dubois. Siegenthaler checks him in the corner. Jack with the loose puck, gives it to Bratt. He goes cross ice. Here's Dawson Mercer with the empty net. He scores.
Good.
Second of the night for Dawson Mercer, and it's 7-3. Now, I've worked with you for a while. You said good because you were happy that Dawson Mercer scored that goal as 100th.
Right.
But you were probably good, Spencer Carberry. Why did you pull your goalie so early? You gave yourself no chance, and now you're really in trouble.
No, that's a great point, Matty, because I just want to know the purpose. If it's even one goal, of course you pull the goalie. Okay, maybe two. They're down 3. They can't do anything 5-on-5. And you got games coming up. You pull your goalie. Why? Anyway, but that's just me because I want, when Gretzky played and Bossy played, if they were pulling goalies with 3 goals ahead or whatever, their total would have been a lot more. Now, nobody's going to remember. And I like Dawson Mercer because he scored a great goal when the goalie was in there, so I'm glad he got it. But I just want to say to the coach, did you really think you could score 3 goals? It's never happened. But anyway, Matty, that's just me. But here's when Mercer scored the empty net goal, I looked around, crowd was cheering. So that's entertainment, and that's what we're going to go with.
100 goals for Dawson Mercer in his Devils career. Jesper Bratt, the primary, a 5-point night on a goal and 4 assists. That's a career high in points and assists in a game for Bratter. And Jack Hughes sets a career high with 5 points in a single game, 2 goals and 3 assists. He picked up the secondary assist. And so Jack with 5 points since the Olympics. This is the 18th game the Devils have played. Mm-hmm. He has 32 points.
Incredible. And Matty and I were talking, just so you know, folks, the amount of pressure that Jack has had, how busy he's been, trying to get some rest, trying to recharge. So we were saying, remember, we're talking about it wasn't his best game in the Garden, but the whole team played that well. So we said, so is he going to be able to come back tonight with that energy, with that focus, with that skill level that he can be at? And you know what? He did. And that's what makes tonight special for me about Jack.
Yeah, it was a great thing to see, and it does. That's what the great ones.
Oh,
that's
yes,
what they
yes,
do.
yes.
They're not down in the dumps for too long. The dauber doesn't get too far down.
No, I don't even know if they have a dauber. I think the dauber gets eliminated after a few years.
They probably. +4 for Jack on the ice, +4 for Jesper Bratt, +4 for Jonas Siegenthaler, 6 shots for Dawson Mercer, 5 for Jack Hughes, 7 goals for the Devils. They win 7-3. And on a night when he has 5 points, Jesper Bratt said this after the game.
Our last game when you guys played these, they gave you a really hard time 5-on-5, but it certainly seemed that the execution level that you guys found tonight was completely different. What was sort of the key to making that adjustment here?
Well, sometimes puck just bounces your way a little bit. I think that we kind of created good opportunities from the start. We got some pucks in behind them. We got to play a little bit behind them, get some long O-zone shifts, and I think that just our execution off the rush and stuff like that, which is like really dialed in, and we kind of got some good goals out of that. And I mean, when you're coming in and it's 4-2 or 5-2 early in the third, it's hard to come back from.
When you're looking at was mentioned the execution, how important is getting those passes tape to tape to kind of build that speed through the neutral zone? It seems like you guys had the one that heals a lot.
Yeah, I mean, it's obviously key. I mean, when you find each other tape to tape and with speed, and you get in behind them, you get to use your skill, and that's when everything just executed so much faster. And I think that's just kind of some good examples when, I mean, on the first goal was just kind of a great example of getting the pucks behind, and then 2 good passes tape to tape and getting the puck back to the center of the ice for a shot. And I mean, Kova's sling pass to me when Jack's first goal was just the same thing, getting in behind them and then use our speed and skill.
Do you kind of see Jack on your left-hand side coming down wing there, or is it just something, was he calling for it? Or
it's kind of both. I feel like we just played with each other so much. I know that usually Jack is not too far away from me, so usually I know he's somewhere around there.
How about Merce getting his 100th goal tonight?
Yeah, good. It was really nice. I mean, he really set the tone there on that one goal with a great shot, and just been a great goal scorer for us for a long time, and he's gonna hopefully the next 100 comes a little faster too.
The importance of finishing out the season strong, Jesper.
Yeah, I mean, that's all we talk about. It's really continue building the foundation. There's no quit here at all, and I think we're just excited to be together with this group and really, really continue working. I mean, we want to end the season with winning all of these games that are still here, and prove to ourselves that we're a committed group, and we all want to be here to continue building next year. And I think that's kind of where our mindset is. We have a lot of fun playing together, and we want to put up some really great games here in front of our fans too.
Jesper Bratt, who had a career night, Devils win 7-3, and that's really what they have to play for, though they are not officially eliminated.
And if they don't make the playoffs, Matt, he said something. You know what will really be disappointed to me? This isn't a young team. This is a team now that needs the playoffs to go through that, find out who they are, be pushed, come up big, whatever. And that's really what disappoints me, is that they're not going to have a chance, and this isn't a young team, they're not going to have a chance to grow in the playoffs like only the playoffs can do. But it is what it is.
Devils now down to 7 games left in the regular season. They win tonight by a score of 7-3, and they get ready for Montreal this weekend. Cole Caulfield with 49 goals, looking for 50. Montreal's won 7 straight. Won't be easy, but the Devils are playing good hockey too. We'll have that game for you right here on the Devils Hockey Network.